8 easy starting tricks to teach your guinea pig, starting with tunnel. Start teaching tunnel by putting your hand all the way through the tunnel and then letting them follow the treat through the tunnel. Next, start to move the treat faster through the tunnel, and when they've got that down, position them on one side of the tunnel and just hold the treat on the other side of the tunnel. When you're seeing a lot of success with that, start to just wait, and when they look like they're about to go in the tunnel totally of their own accord, tap the tunnel or whatever hand signal you would like and reward when they go through. This is an easy one because most guinea pigs love tunnels. Next up is jumping over a jump. Start with something like a stick or a pencil and just put it on the floor and just use the treat to lure them just to walk over it. Then you're going to start slowly pulling the stick up higher and higher. Try not to move it more than a centimeter up each time. I find when it's really low, they will kind of step on it, but generally as they start to go faster and start to go over higher jumps, they will stop doing that. If you've gotten the jump pretty high and they're still putting their feet on the jump, just don't reward that and only reward when they do actually jump. Maple is already really good at jumps, so I only ever reward if his feet don't touch the bar, like that. Next up is the muffin tin game, or I'm actually using a food puzzle, so this is basically just a puzzle for them. I'd recommend that you start with one of the tin places being empty and putting a treat in it so they get the idea that they can eat off of it. And then you can kind of help them out by moving around the cups or by showing them there's treats under it, things like that. You can use a muffin tin with cups on top of it or balls in it, rolled up paper inside it, anything like that. We're really just looking for this concept of a food puzzle. It doesn't have to be a literal muffin tin. Next up is paws up, so I start by just feeding them by the top of an object, and then I start to put treats right on the top of the object and let them eat off of that. And when they're comfortable kind of reaching up there to get the treat, then I will start to just kind of hold the treat with my hand and hold it further away so they have to stretch up onto it, and if they put one paw on, they get a treat. And then if they put two paws on, they get another treat. And I'll continue to feed treats if they stay on. In addition, this is a great point to start to teach off as well. Just use your rewarding hand to point to the ground and usually they'll come right off. Next is the cup game, similar to the muffin tin game. The idea is that they move or knock over a cup to get the treat under it. So start out by showing them the treat that's under the cup, and if you need to, you can kind of hold the cup up a centimeter so they try to reach their head under it and get it, and then let them do whatever they want to get the treat. Next up is fetch, or bring it to my hand. There's a couple different parts to this trick. I start by teaching them to pick up the ball. A great way to do that is to shove a treat into it, and then after they eat that treat, they'll go back to look for more. They touch the ball and you give them another treat. Then they'll start to investigate the ball more, and if they pick it up, you give them a couple treats. Then keep their interest in the ball by moving it around, touching it, and give them a treat every time they pick it up. Next, you want to put your hand on the floor right by where you put the ball. The goal is that they put the ball in your hand. So for now, you want to just start by rewarding them touching the ball to your hand. So if they drop it and it hits your hand, they should get a treat. When they're doing pretty well with that, you can start to raise your expectations by only rewarding when they actually drop the ball in your hand. And then you can start to move the ball or your hand further away. The novice trick doesn't actually require it to be in the hand, it just requires them to bring it to you. Next, we're going to work on the target disc. This one is super simple. The idea is for them to touch their nose to the disc. So I start by letting them eat a treat off of the disc, and then when they go back to investigate it again, their nose will touch the disc and you give them a treat. And then just keep moving the disc around a little bit, their nose touches the disc, they get a treat. Then you can start to try to get them to touch it while it's moving. So start by moving it slowly away from them, and as they follow it, you wait a second and give them a treat after they've followed it for a second. This will help build in distance and desire to continue to touch it or try to move forward to touch it. The target stick is basically exactly the same. The idea is that there's a ball or point at the end of the stick that they touch. So you're going to give them treats when they touch their nose to it and move it around and give them treats when they keep their nose on it. Same as the target disc. Next up is kennel up. For the novice, they just have to go into the open kennel on their own. So you want to start by putting treats in the kennel, and as soon as they go in, you want to give them more treats. Continue to give them treats inside the kennel, with the goal being to keep them in there as long as possible and keep it as a fun place where they get rewards. Next, you want to release them out of the kennel. If you know a release word or a recall, this would be great to use here. And you want to try to lure them into the kennel this time, or to make a trail of treats. The goal is going to be that each time you have to use fewer treats, or you can lure them in faster. You'll know they've gotten it when they start to just walk in on their own, and that's when you can give a hand signal or give your cue of kennel or whatever you would like to call it. I say kennel and point at it. Once they understand going in on their own, that's when you can start to add distance. So just start with them, say, a few inches away from the kennel opening, and then add on a couple inches each time that you do it, so that they can learn to walk over to and into the kennel. For novice, you want to be able to cue them to go into the kennel from a few feet away. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for more guinea pig training and care.